Imagine you get a frantic phone call right in the middle of the workday.
Oh, the worst feeling.
Yeah, exactly. You check the caller ID and it's your teenage daughter. So you answer, and immediately your blood just runs completely cold.
Right.
She's crying, her voice is, trembling, and she says she's stranded somewhere unsafe. She needs you to send money to some unfamiliar account right this second so she can get a ride home.
And you're hearing her actual voice.
Exactly. You hear her unique speech patterns, the specific way she catches her breath when she's terrified. And as a parent, you would do absolutely anything to save her.
Of course you would. Anyone would.
But what if she never actually made that call?
Yeah, that's the thing.
What if she is sitting safely in algebra class and that panicked, desperate voice on the other end of the line was entirely synthesized by a line of code?
It's genuinely the terrifying reality we are stepping into right now.
Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we are bringing you a critical look at this rapidly shifting landscape. And honestly, it affects every single person listening to this right now.
It really does. No one is entirely immune.
We're pulling our insights today from an alarming but absolutely essential 2026 article. It's published by Fin & Grin, and it's titled AI-Powered Harassment, the New Frontier of Cyberbullying.
And the why it matters framework here, it requires a massive shift in how we think about digital safety.
Yeah.
We aren't dealing with a nuisance anymore. We aren't just talking about, internet trolls leaving mean comments on a photograph.
Right. The stakes are way higher.
So much higher.
Right.
We are dealing with sophisticated automated identity theft. It's the deployment of synthetic reality as a tool for actual psychological abuse.
Wow.
And at a scale that was, frankly, unimaginable even 3 years ago.
Okay, let's unpack this, because our mission today isn't just to scare you. We're going to explore exactly how artificial intelligence transformed harassment into this scalable weapon. And crucially, we are going to arm you with the exact strategies you need to defend yourself. But to understand the severity of this AI-driven harassment, we first have to look at the baseline, right? We
do. We have to understand the foundation we're building on.
Yeah, we need to look at how devastating traditional cyberbullying had already become before the algorithms took over.
Right. And looking at the data, that foundation was already fundamentally broken.
The statistics in the Fin & Grin piece are heavy. According to the 2023 CDC Youth Risk Behavior Survey, 1 in 5 high schoolers reported being bullied on school property.
1 in 5.
Yeah, that is 20% of students facing harassment in the physical world.
Right.
But when that behavior migrated online, the stakes became lethal. The article highlights data from the Cyberbullying Research Center in 2024, and it reveals that victims of cyberbullying are 1.9 times more likely to attempt suicide.
And that metric, it requires us to pause and look at the underlying psychological mechanism.
Why does it double the risk?
Exactly. Why does the digital transition almost double that risk? It comes down to the inescapable nature of the digital panopticon.
Okay.
Historically, if you were a victim of schoolyard bullying, you could eventually go home. The bedroom was a physical sanctuary.
You could escape it for a few hours.
Right. But traditional cyberbullying breached that sanctuary.
Yeah.
It brought the torment into the victim's pocket 24/7. Constant. It created a psychological environment where the threat response in the brain is perpetually activated.
And that was before AI even entered the chat.
Exactly.
That was when bullying was still manual. It required a human being to sit down, type a message, and hit send. It took, human energy.
It didn't scale easily.
Right. So what happens now when AI introduces this concept the article calls swarming?
So swarming removes the human bottleneck entirely.
Okay.
In a swarming scenario, an individual isn't facing one persistent bully. They are targeted by a coordinated, automated network of bot accounts. The AI is programmed to generate endless abusive comments, direct messages, threats, and it does it across multiple platforms simultaneously.
It sounds like going from dealing with a single loud heckler in a crowd to suddenly facing an entire stadium equipped with automated megaphones.
Right.
And they're all pointed at one person.
That is a perfect analogy. And let's take that stadium analogy a step further into the computational mechanics.
Okay.
Those megaphones aren't just loud. They are algorithmically optimized.
What does that mean?
Well, the AI bots are designed to interact with each other. They like and share the abusive content to deliberately trick the social media platform's engagement algorithms.
Oh, geez. So the platform thinks it's just popular content.
Exactly. The platform sees all this automated activity, assumes the content is highly engaging, and pushes it to the top of everyone's feed.
That is insidious.
It is. The victim isn't just overwhelmed by the volume. They are algorithmically trapped in a cycle where the abuse is constantly amplified.
The psychological toll of that kind of relentless coordination, it just has to be devastating.
Absolutely devastating.
The Fin and Grin article notes that the American Psychological Association recognizes prolonged exposure to this specific kind of inescapable attack can lead to severe anxiety, profound depression, and even symptoms of CPTSD.
Complex post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right. It's essentially systematic psychological warfare.
Which is why we have to examine the specific weapons in this new arsenal. The harassment has moved far beyond automated text generation.
Right. The text was just the beginning.
Yeah, we are now dealing with the manipulation of audio and video. We're in the realm of clones and deepfakes.
And the article cites a 2025 warning from the Rand Corporation. They specifically highlight AI-powered deepfake harassment as a present danger in K-12 schools.
Present danger, not future.
Exactly. I want to emphasize this for you. This is not some futuristic sci-fi plot happening in a high-tech lab. It is happening in middle schools and high schools right now.
The Rand Corporation report makes it incredibly clear that the barrier to entry for this technology has plummeted.
You don't need to be a hacker anymore.
Not at all. You no longer need a computer science degree to generate a deepfake. The mechanics of voice and chatbot impersonation, they rely on these sophisticated language models that scrape a target's online persona.
Okay.
They pull public videos, social media posts, audio clips, and they use it to map a person's vocal patterns, their specific cadence, even their unique slang.
But wait, I have to challenge this premise a bit.
Go for it.
Let's say my social media is completely locked down. Like, it's private. I only share videos of my family vacations or voice notes with a tight circle of friends.
Sure.
If I don't have a massive public YouTube channel, how is an AI getting enough data to synthesize a clone of my voice? Am I actually at risk?
It is without a doubt the most common misconception regarding this tech.
Really?
Yes. You might be private, but the data broker ecosystem and the sheer reality of data breaches mean your information is often way more exposed than you realize.
Oh, right. Data breaches.
And furthermore, the technology has evolved so rapidly that an AI no longer requires hours of crystal clear audio to build a phonetic map.
How much does it need?
In many cases, it only needs a few seconds of your voice, maybe captured from a friend's less secure account, or just a seemingly innocuous voicemail greeting. That's enough to generate a highly convincing clone.
Just a voicemail greeting. That is chilling. A few seconds of audio is all it takes to build a puppet that sounds exactly like me.
Yep.
And the article explains how these clones are deployed maliciously. They solicit inappropriate content from the victim's friends, or they send abusive messages that appear to come directly from the victim.
Right, destroying relationships.
Yeah, it's designed to detonate their social connections from the inside out.
It's a highly advanced form of digital gaslighting. There's a clinical review in the Journal of Family Violence from 2024.
Okay.
And it identifies gaslighting as a distinct, profound form of psychological abuse that basically erodes a victim's trust in their own perception.
Because you can't trust what you're seeing or hearing.
Exactly. AI automates this by creating plausible but entirely false evidence. If you receive a voice note from your best friend saying something horrific, your brain struggles to reject the evidence of your own ears.
Even if your logical mind knows it's totally out of character.
Right.
Which brings us to a totally different demographic being targeted by this exact same psychological mechanism.
It's not just kids.
No, we aren't just talking about teenagers. The Fin and Grin piece brings in some staggering data regarding the elderly.
Leading Age reported in 2025 that there has been a 300% increase in the digital exploitation of the elderly since 2020.
300%.
And this spike is directly tied to the intersection of social isolation and this hyper-realistic audio cloning.
The fake grandchild phone call we talked about at the start.
Yes, an elderly individual who might already be experiencing some cognitive vulnerability or, social isolation, receives a call that sounds perfectly identical to their grandchild.
And the AI knows exactly how to manipulate them.
Right, the AI mimics the voice, the panic, the urgency. Because the elderly victim's brain processes the audio as authentic, their biological threat response just takes over.
They don't even think to verify it.
They bypass logical verification because their family member is in quote-unquote danger. The emotional and financial devastation happens in minutes.
If an AI can clone a voice perfectly enough to bypass our biological threat response, I mean, my first instinct is to just throw my smartphone in the ocean and go completely off the grid.
It's tempting, for sure.
Tell me there is a better defensive strategy than just abandoning digital communication entirely. How do we actually fight back against this kind of reality manipulation?
Well, we have to start with the reality check provided by Jennifer Langley. She's a human resources expert and the founder of Fin and Grin.
Right, the source piece.
She notes in the text, the pace of technological change often outstrips our ability to adapt our protective measures. We must work harder, faster, and smarter to safeguard our digital lives.
So we're playing catch-up. Always. The underlying point here is that we cannot wait for the software to save us. Our defense must be behavioral.
Okay, the primary behavioral defense outlined in the source is managing your digital footprint.
Right.
You basically have to starve the algorithm of the raw material it needs to build the clone. That means consciously minimizing public voice recordings, locking down privacy settings, and just being highly selective about the personal data you allow to exist in public digital spaces.
But, footprint management only protects you from being cloned.
What do you mean?
The more urgent defense is how you respond when you are on the receiving end of a synthetic attack.
Ah, okay.
The absolute rule is verification through alternative, trusted channels. If you receive a frantic request for money, a bizarre video, or an out-of-character message from someone you must break the digital loop.
How?
You hang up and call a verified number. You speak to them in person.
This actually makes me think of a practical application of that advice. If we can't trust the voice on the phone, families could implement a safe word.
Like, if my daughter calls me from an unknown number in a panic and I ask for the safe word, the AI scraping her TikTok videos isn't going to know our secret family password.
Exactly.
It's a low-tech human firewall against a high-tech threat.
The family safe word is a brilliant translation of that verification strategy. It forces the communication out of the predictive algorithm's capabilities.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. I was looking closely at the Fin and Grin piece, and it mentions that we can also actively spot these AI fakes with our own eyes.
Yes, the visual cues.
It lists specific deepfake tells, things like inconsistent lighting, blurry edges around the face, or unnatural eye blinks. But I have to ask, why does a super advanced AI, capable of mapping human speech patterns flawlessly, struggle with something as basic as making a digital puppet blink its eyes?
It comes down to the computational mechanism behind the generation.
Okay.
AI doesn't actually understand human anatomy or physics or three-dimensional space.
It doesn't know what an eye actually is.
Right. It is simply a statistical engine predicting pixel patterns based on the massive volume of two-dimensional images it was trained on.
Oh, I see.
So when it tries to cast a shadow on a face, it doesn't calculate where the light source is in a 3D room. It just guesses where dark pixels usually go based on its training.
So it's essentially faking a 3D reality using 2D math.
Precisely. And that math leaves glitches. Because humans naturally blink, but photographs usually capture people with their eyes open, the AI's training data is skewed.
Because everyone says cheese and opens their eyes for a photo.
Exactly. It doesn't inherently know the biological rhythm of a blink. And the edges blur because the AI struggles to separate the generated foreground face from the background pixels.
That makes so much sense.
Jason Langley, a registered nurse quoted in the article, sums this up perfectly. Awareness is your first line of defense against AI deception.
If you know why the AI makes mistakes, you know exactly where to look for the glitches. Like, for audio, the source mentions listening for a metallic undertone, an unnatural cadence, or a strange lack of breathing sounds. Again, the AI doesn't have lungs, so it forgets to breathe.
And by understanding these mechanical tells, you strip the deepfake of its psychological power.
You take the power back.
You move from being a victim of gaslighting to an active investigator of the media you consume.
It is empowering to know we can train our eyes and ears to spot the glitches. But I keep coming back to the sheer scale of this.
It's overwhelming.
It feels incredibly exhausting to have to constantly audit our digital lives, implement safe words, and scrutinize every video for pixel blurring. Are we just expected to fend for ourselves in this digital Wild West, or are institutions actually stepping up?
That pivot from individual defense to institutional responsibility is critical.
Can't do it alone.
We cannot place the entire burden of this global psychological warfare on the shoulders of individuals, particularly children and the elderly. The systemic nature of the vulnerability requires a systemic response.
And the vulnerability is incredibly widespread. The Fin and Grin article lays out statistics that prove this isn't just an isolated issue.
Or far from it.
UNESCO reported in 2024 that 1 in 3 students globally have been bullied at least once in the past month.
Globally.
The National Center for Education Statistics found that 22% of students aged 12 to 18 are bullied, and it bleeds right into adulthood. The Workplace Bullying Institute noted in 2024 that 30% of American workers experience workplace bullying.
So the societal mandate synthesized in the article is twofold. First, technology companies have an absolute responsibility to build in detection safeguards.
They built the problem, they need to build the solution.
Exactly. The same engineering power used to create the algorithms must be deployed to build the shields. Automated systems that catch and neutralize synthetic harassment before it ever reaches a user's feed.
And the second part.
Concurrently, governments must update legislation to ensure victims have actionable legal pathways when these new forms of digital abuse occur.
But waiting for tech giants to self-regulate or governments to pass new laws, that takes years.
It does. It's too slow.
What about the environments where this abuse is happening today? How do schools and workplaces protect their people right now?
This is where we look at the research from Adler University in 2024, which introduces a fascinating countermeasure.
What did they find?
Their study found that cultivating psychological safety in workplaces can reduce bullying by up to 40%.
40%, that is a massive reduction. But how does building psychological safety actually neutralize an AI-powered deepfake threat?
We have to look at how gaslighting functions neurologically. AI manipulation thrives in a vacuum of isolation.
It wants you alone.
It relies on the victim feeling too terrified, confused, or ashamed to ask for help. Psychological safety means creating a culture where an employee or a student feels entirely secure, speaking up about something strange without fear of embarrassment or retaliation.
Okay, so if a worker gets a synthesized audio message from their boss demanding an immediate secret wire transfer, their brain doesn't immediately default to a panic response.
Exactly. In a psychologically safe environment, the worker's prefrontal cortex isn't hijacked by fear.
They can think clearly.
They feel comfortable walking into the boss's actual office and saying, "Hey, I just got this bizarre voice note. Did you send this?"
Wow.
The culture of open communication breaks the isolation loop that the AI relies on. While technological firewalls matter immensely, fostering a culture of empathy and safety is the ultimate human countermeasure to synthetic manipulation.
So what does this all mean? If we synthesize everything we've uncovered in the Fin and Grin article, the reality is that we are locked in an ongoing arms race.
We are.
As the generative AI gets more sophisticated, our detection methods have to become sharper. As the automated bot networks learn new ways to swarm, our digital hygiene and our personal verification habits like implementing a family safe word have to become second nature.
It's the new normal.
We've traced the terrifying evolution from manual schoolyard bullying to AI-driven synthetic reality, and we've seen that the defense requires both spotting the mechanical glitches in the technology and fostering deep psychological safety in our communities.
The overarching takeaway from the source material is that while the weapons are technological, the battle is profoundly social.
Yeah.
The AI is designed to make you feel isolated, but nobody has to navigate this landscape alone.
That is vital for you to remember. If you or someone you know is dealing with digital harassment or the psychological toll of cyberbullying, there are resources standing by right now.
Please use them.
The text highlights several critical lifelines. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is available by calling or texting 988. You can reach the crisis text line by texting HOME to 741-741. You can access chat support at Stomp Out Bullying by visiting stompoutbullying.org help chat or explore federal resources at stopbullying.gov.
Utilizing those resources is the ultimate way to shatter the isolation these algorithms try to impose.
It truly is. As we close out this deep dive, there is one final lingering thought I want you to chew on.
Let's hear it.
We've spent this time dissecting how AI algorithms scrape our digital footprints to synthesize perfect, malicious clones of us. If a few seconds of a voice note is all it takes to steal our identity, do we need to completely redefine what authenticity means in the modern age?
That's the big question.
Will the sheer volume and perfection of AI-generated deception eventually force society to abandon digital communication for sensitive matters entirely? Decades from now, will we look back at this exact moment as the turning point that forced us to return to face-to-face analog interactions as the absolute only way to guarantee we know who we're actually talking to?
It makes you wonder.
Something to keep in mind the next time your phone rings.